morning. Everyone, please rise. If y'all would join me in prayer, please. Father God, we come here together recognizing the season of Thanksgiving is upon us, and that is followed by the celebration of the birth of your Son, Jesus Christ. In that time, Lord, let us look to take care of our neighbors, to reach out and share the brotherhood you have given us, that all of us are here to serve one another. Father God, this court as we deliberate and work to serve the citizens of this county. We ask your special blessing upon those who serve in the various uniforms to protect and defend the rights and the laws of those in this United States. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas pledge, please.
I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Texas, please.
Judge, I think we ought to put it in the record somewhere that Commissioner Beecham and Sam didn't beat him black and blue, that those were actually surgically induced.
Well, we're glad for that.
And he can see, that's a good thing.
Yeah. The world looks different out there now, doesn't it?
I can actually see you over there.
Hey, well, that may not be the best thing for you.
Years ago, my dad had a guy working for him at the farm, and his cataracts had got very bad. And they took him up and had the surgery done and removed it. And we asked him a day or two later what happened. He said, yeah, he said, I was driving home that first day, and he said, I saw stop signs and things I didn't know were there. That gives you like, oh, that's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Ask the court to take action or bring up any question on consent agenda items.
Question on 8, the dialysis service, is that for indigent or is that for inmate care?
It is for indigent. All inmates are indigents. But we agreed to that because this gentleman was in an emergency situation, and he was someone we are right now transporting one 3 times a week to Denton to pay the lesser rate. And the dialysis center here, the one that's been here a while, will not treat that patient.
Okay.
The new one is not set up yet to do the billing, but I don't think they want to accept indigent rates, but we would pay them. I think it behooves us to pay them instead of having to transport that individual.
The individual should be out of our custody next day or two.
Sir?
He should be out of our custody next day or two.
Okay, that's what I had hoped was going to happen, but I am going to go over and visit with them and see if we can set up something a little more favorable. The hospital cannot do the dialysis unless they're an inpatient.
Okay. I just want to understand that.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the consent, Judge.
Anyone in the audience have any question on the consent agenda items? Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the items as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 1 is to review and approve the regular bills for payment.
We audited the invoices on Friday. Judge, I'd make a motion that we pay the regular bills.
Second.
And audit's probably not.
No,
I'm
reviewed,
sorry.
reviewed.
Reviewed, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That does have an official connotation there.
You can sound official. Okay. Any questions on any of the bills? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 4-0. Item number 2 is discuss and consider take action to approve the purchase of bottled water for department budgets for road outside workers. Commissioner Watts, I believe that was your item.
Yes, we had, and I told Judy I'd put those, we found an invoice from this summer that, was it Reagan, had put back, and they don't believe it's paid, but Judy was asking about it. And I know we do I know we keep bottled water. We have water jugs as well, but I had asked her or Nancy to put this on there. Put it on there so we could, there are times, and mostly when they're out with the road crews, that we'll furnish water for the other guys or whoever we're with, and also for some of our tree trimming folks as well. But that's what it is. I don't know, I couldn't even tell you how much it was, Judge. It's 3 cases of water, but I asked her to, and the reason that it had weighed on me, we got, Midwest Waste was, had an OSHA audit, and we got written up or found in default for not furnishing water for, it's $23.94, furnishing water for everyone. We did have and buy the water jugs that mounted on the trucks. There's a special rack made for different bodies, and there were issues with that because the guys were fighting over, don't use my water, you can't drink out of my water, this is not our water, or somebody would not bring their cup and put their mouth on it and get a drink, and then it ruined it for everybody else. And that was one of the things, so we started keeping a fair amount of that. They still do it and they still take their jugs, but they do have bottled water in the instance that it comes up. So that's why this is on there.
Okay, I'd sure like to know the siding for that, because I'm thinking, okay, when does that end? Do we bring their lunch? We try to provide those things, we provide the ability to go back and forth the restrooms. Now, when we've had emergency situations, we had law enforcement, we've had a fire out for those extended periods for grass fires, we have gotten water and we have gotten food and those kind of things where those people are caught there many more hours than they were planned for. But there's got to be some personal responsibility that people take. A lot of those things, that special rack that goes on the side of the pickup, you put that cooler, and there's a little deal on the side for those little solo cups. Then there needs to be a place for a little trash bag to hang there because the Yahoos will drink it and throw it on the ground. So,
When we're doing like chip seal projects, and we're gonna be out for 12 hours, I don't see it's an issue. So it's a life safety health issue, so.
if you have water jugs there and then drink them, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to have it in a cooler and buy? Where does that end? That they're not responsible for themselves. I mean, what happens then when you run out of water? Is somebody going to have to leave and go get it? And if you had 3 cases of water at $24, they bought it at the wrong place.
Well, I'm saying, do you know how much it was, Nancy? I don't even know what it was. We keep on hand generally what?
6 cases.
6 cases.
We had a special deal, Judge, back in, it was probably in 2011 when we were in the drought, excessive heat, and I was thinking it was the state that donated a bunch of water and Gatorade, and they divided it up among the precincts. I remember that, but I don't remember what the deal was for that summer on the work. And we've used it, kind of like Mark was saying, if we're chip sealing, I might run and get a case of water, and we've got coolers that we got through the surplus program, and we've got an ice machine.
Well, we keep that Gatorade in the packet. We mix it in the bulk, sometimes.
We don't do it all the time, but we might do it the week we're chip sealing or something like that. I usually just go get it myself and just out of my own pocket and bring a case or 2 of water, put it in the cooler and go. But we've done it both ways. We've got the water jugs and the water deal. I don't know how you set a policy to cover that, but
we have a coffee fund here that furnishes the coffee for anybody here that comes in. We do that. I'm just saying, I'd like to see where, because I want to know where that obligation ends. Way to do it. You know, the school district, I thought it was interesting, they went through and they cut out furnishing bottled water, they went through, they were outraged to think that they were spending $20,000 a year on bottled water.
Ooh. No, I just think that sometimes you're, and I don't even know how we ice that. I'm not familiar with the process at all, but I do know that if there's guys on equipment and guys in trucks that it's hard, you may not have your water jug with you. And he may throw them bottles of water. I bet you we don't spend twice that. I bet we don't have 12 cases of water a year. Well, what do y'all do? What's the process?
Most of the officers buy them, put them in the car, keep them.
Just drink on a bottle? What do we do in the jail?
No, in case the water's out, we go buy a case of water, because they have to be offered water every 2 hours, 8 ounces of water every 2 hours. So when the water is out, we have to go buy cases of water.
But what do the workers do?
The
jail
the jail
workers.
workers, they have their own. They bring their own drinks in. Yeah, we don't supply their water.
We've got some ice chests that we got through the surplus program. I thought every precinct had 2 or 3.
Well, and we may, Barry, I put up the water jugs, and I made them start keeping them in the locker room, and I was familiar with the water jugs, but I wasn't with the other cooler, I mean, the
There might
ice
have
chest.
been a time when you couldn't buy them. But anyway, that's fast.
For everyday use, the coolers are sufficient, but when you're gonna be out for those extended days, during the still,
That's when
you're on the far
we-
edges of the county, you don't have a place you can just run over and grab some, I don't see it's an issue.
Well, without going to the store or something, you know, they leave out day mowing and all tracking together, it's kind of difficult. But I didn't know if we wanted to set some limit on that, or not to exceed, or buy it collectively, or I had never ever seen it before, and I was telling Deb why I suspect I never saw it is I also never saw any of we pick up a tremendous amount of scrap on the road, and about the time that last December, it was getting to be quite full, the scrap area. And I feel like that's maybe why I never saw it, is because I never saw the scrap money either.
And you about metal that you
Uh-huh.
recycle.
Every piece of junk can imagine, and you can imagine out in my neck of the woods how much of it won't pass the test.
Yeah, it'd be hot.
Hot,
Yeah.
but,
Facing down.
oh, Barry, yours is not picking up now.
It's picking up your papers, because you have it facing down. You mean, Mike, on your side.
Mark, do you know what y'all spend?
Not much, I mean, if you want to buy like a pallet at a precinct, buy the pallet cost. and
Didn't let them,
let 'em
come
manage
grab it.
Within, yeah. Use it for the long
it'll
day.
keep all year, won't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've kept it for a couple of years in my own shop. You know, there'd be a case that would sit there for 2 or 3 years. Didn't even use it.
What does like when we go out and if they call for a dozer and we go out there and get situated, how's the firemen, what do they do for?
I guess they take it. When I get called out, I think it would be.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how long you're gonna be gone.
They bring it, but sometimes it's
Yeah.
prolonged. Lee has gone and gotten
Got
water.
water?
Red Cross has come and brought water.
Red Cross has,
On the big deal.
Well, the water issue stood out in my mind because of OSHA, but you know, and when you have an 8-hour guy on a duty at the jail, does he clock out for lunch hour?
No,
it works straight through.
And we pay them
But
straight
They
through.
don't get an hour either. They just, sometimes 15, 20 minutes, shut down the food and go back to their spot.
Okay.
They have a choice of jail food or their own, they can bring it. We furnish the lunch because we don't allow them to leave during that period. You all want to do some more, work on this, look at it, come back with some kind of proposal?
Yeah,
and stuff?
sure. Yeah, we can look at it and see if it'd be something we want to do for maybe keep those divvied up somehow.
Okay. All right, we're down to the part of public comment. Ms. Ditto, I understand you want to have our court rules allow 5 minutes.
I don't know your rules as to the eviction, but I haven't had to do it for a while. But there are times that you would have the people that are renting from you their furniture set in the yard. I did not have that choice today. And it is costly to keep your property up to where you can get a decent amount monthly to make it worth your time. And the fees that we are paying at this time, and I do not have a choice. I have to go through the process of the court and then to give them 5 days to move out. So the whole issue with me is they can take the rest of the month and I'm the loser. You're not the loser. You got your taxes. I keep the property up so that I can rent it to pay taxes. Now, what is the process to even remove the choice? I don't need them. They've already been told with a 3-day notice what day to move, and they're still sitting there because I went over this morning quite early to see if there was cars there, and yes, there is, and there's an extra one as well. I am being used, but I can't do anything to get them out, and then I have to go through the court process. What can I do to change some of the rules?
Now, Ms. Ditto, do you collect a rent, first and last month's rent?
Yes, but I didn't with this person.
Oh,
I have been took, and I have paid my fee of $175 this morning to be able to have them get the notice to move or to come to court. They will come to court, then they get another 5 days. And so they are, I am being used, and I can't do anything about it. I would have preferred to have had the sheriff go out and post the door and let them know that they definitely were moving, but we have to go through the court procedure.
That's the JP court.
and is it constable?
Yeah, is that where the fine is levied? I mean, the fee?
Eviction notice
Eviction.
to serve papers.
They serve papers, and then they have 5 days. After they come to court, they have 5 days. So we have several, the court date isn't until December the 5th. So they're sitting there, I'm losing rent, and I can't do a darn thing about it. And I would have chosen the sheriff to post their door.
The only way and I agree with you, I think there's way too much they're riding on it, knowing they can ride it. Because it's probably not the first time these people have seen an eviction notice. But unless the laws are changed at the state level, it's not county ordinance or anything that you're going by. Those procedures are created at the state level.
Is the choice of which one you want to have happen regulated by?
I believe it is. I think it's this notice, then when they don't comply, you appear in court, and then they're told they have X days to get out, and then if they don't move, then you have to get the eviction order and pay the fee for the constable to come and sit there and move their furniture out.
Well, which I will do. I have done it.
Yeah.
But it is terrible that you're used like this, and I will contact my representative and see what can be done about these rules, because it isn't always wise to let people get that much freedom, and these people are liars, so I'm sure they have done this before, and know it to where they are getting X number of days free and don't have to worry about it because we go through the procedure.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge,
Dare say they're well schooled. Yes, sir.
is the constable the only one that can serve eviction papers? A private processor can't do it?
Well, a private processor couldn't carry it out, I don't believe.
Hmm.
When you get down that far down, then that's, if you don't move, then I think you will be arrested at that point. So that's why they generally, you go drive down the street, you see all this stuff stacked out on the curb, and you go, wonder what the deal is there? Well, that's the process, and we usually have 2 officers there, but it's not a very friendly moment.
Yeah.
And in some cases, we've had as many as 3 officers there because of the size of the family being evicted. So it's not a good situation for the property owner or for the county. I was telling Ms. Ditto that probably when you have the senior law enforcement people we have in the constable's office and there, it's a pretty good hourly rate for all of them to be there to do that.
Well, I'm required to have people to move it out,
Right.
and the door is posted. And, but it's a process. You do leave it on there, and then eventually I've only had to do it one time. I've been at this over 50 years. But the process that we have to go through in the too many days that is costly. See, it'll be the middle of the month probably before all of this is.
I'm afraid so, and that's all statutory. But that'd be Representative Frank to approach their office. And his chief of staff is a gentleman named James Johnson. He's a very nice young man. That's who you probably wind up talking to.
Like so many times, county government is the application arm of state government. They make the rules and we apply them, which is frustrating from time to time when you've got something that's not working, but that's generally the procedure.
Well, I do belong to the rental association, so I will talk with them
That's
and
Good idea.
get a
That's a
body
good
of
idea.
people together, because this affects us all there
Sure.
in the business.
Legislature convenes in just about a month, a little over a month, so it's a good timing to make a difference.
Now, will you follow through, Ms. Ditto, or have you in the past where you attach a levy to them somehow that,
judgment.
a judgment?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I am on this, doesn't amount to anything.
Hard to collect.
And they add, I think, 5% to it. I've never done it, but I am on this. I'm tired of, if a person that is being used doesn't stand, these people will never understand. If they get by with it, they keep on.
Sure.
And so it's got to be stopped. And that would be the only way. They will be stopped to where they can't, it'll be on their credit, and then they can't, anybody they want to buy a car or something, they're going to have to pay off some bills.
Right.
I'm showing up, let me give you a local number, I believe this is correct for his office here, is 766-4545.
Now, is that Frank? or-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No, it would help a lot of people that own rental property if there are some changes here, because there are occasions where you need to be able to go on and move that furniture out and get the house to where you can rent it again.
I have a second number, let me give you that one too, 767-1700, and that's for Rhonda Perot, that's his district director here.
Okay.
you very much. Appreciate you coming. We don't often get the privilege of people coming to see us and tell us what's on their mind. But, no, I think your association idea, that's where there'd be some impact to deal, because you have not only a local one, but Texas association, I think. So I'm sure there's a lot of apartment buildings would like to see that period shortened also.
Well, actually, probably there are other things that people could contribute that are a different circumstance than mine,
Yeah.
that would enable some correction to help us all.
Sure. Now, Ms. Ditto, I feel for you. I'm a rent house owner as well, and something that I did and that I was instructed that I could do is I impounded the car. And unfortunately, the one I got a hold of was not of great value, but had I gotten the right one, could have squeezed them a little bit harder. Because when they no longer are eligible to be at your rent property, then I could impound that thing. And so that's what I had done, and this one happened to be full of computers that the tenant wanted to keep from her place of work, and she was willing to, because I was the only one that could turn it loose. I didn't know that option until I found myself in your situation, but it's worth investigating, I should say.
Because there's a fair fee for towing and impounding it.
Right. But it was their obligation to pay that impound fee when it's said and done. But it's worth checking through on that.
Could I do that before these papers are filed?
No, I don't think so. You'd have to have the eviction notice if they were no longer a legal resident. Check that procedure very carefully.
And I have to go through the 5-day waiting fee?
I don't know.
I don't know that.
None of us here can give you that advice.
Okay.
You need to talk to an attorney or talk to your association and see how they handle it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that showed.
Anyone else in the audience have any comment on that? Okay. Mr. Beecham?
Just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving this week. We have a lot to be thankful for in both our community and our country. We live in the greatest place in the world, and still believe that today. And it's an honor to serve our community. So I'm very thankful for that. That's all I have, Judge.
Oh, absolutely. Commissioner Waller?
Just echo what Commissioner Beecham says. It really is. Thanksgiving's always been one of my favorite holidays. It has all the good things without all the hustle and bustle and rush and tension. And to me, it's always been one of my favorites. Just get together, family, friends, and have a nice celebration. So hope everybody gets to do that. Be careful. They're saying this is going to be a tremendously big travel time. So if you're traveling, be careful. Looking for some big delays at the airports and all. I've seen some reports over the weekend that they're thinking that the robust economy and all, that we're going to see lots of people on the road. So anyway, just good FFA drawdown fundraiser for Iowa Park FFA Saturday night. Enjoyed participating in that. Just another great program to support the youth of this community. There's a bunch of them, and that's one of them. And
Who was the overall winner? Do you know?
I can't tell that. I think they're from Windthorst, matter of fact. But it was just well done. Had a great meal. You go to the Elks, you're going to have a great meal.
Yep.
Just plan on that. We appreciate their hospitality and just a great fundraiser for that organization to help those kids with projects. Just a lot of good things going on. Hated to miss the Christmas parade, but you can't be everywhere. So
Right.
we went on to do it. So still got a few teams in the playoffs, football playoffs going on. I know Iowa Park advances, and I see Hershey, and I'm going to get in trouble. Coyotes got beat, I think. I don't know. I better be careful because I don't have the whole list. But several of them, and we love to see our young people do well. It's important for our county.
Commissioner Watts?
Christmas parade was fantastic. If you don't make it, it's a sight to see. There's lots of activity, thousands of people. I'd read last year 15,000
I
people.
don't think so. I think that's
Unreal,
I
Judge.
think that's a Chamber of Commerce number. But
Okay.
It was a good number, and the other night was a good number until we had that slight break in the parade.
Oh,
And about half of the street disappeared because
Oh.
that wind chill had dropped to 36.
yes, yes.
It was all I wanted.
Well, there's a little bit of everything for everybody. You
Yeah.
could see about what you wanted to, from street rods to floats and Santa Claus, and it was cold time, but it was a fun time. The Shriners took us in those cars, and that was fun. And Charlotte Forsythe rode with me, and we had a great time, and it was chilly, but I was just amazed at the volume of people that went all the way down 8th Street, around Ohio, and all the way back up 9th Street. It was tremendous. So, and then we went back to the pickup and watched the rest of the parade. It just seemed non-ending with the floats that came through, and was really
Now,
something.
is she Mrs. Texas? Is that who Charlotte Forsythe is?
No, mine is Ray's little girl.
Ray's daughter.
Now, there was
Oh, the
Miss
little girl.
Texas.
Okay, yes.
There was two.
Well, okay, it's funny, when you line up 80 to 90 of those things, they actually don't all get in the right order.
And it's your responsibility to sort it
And
out.
all it said on there was Miss Texas.
Yeah,
Well, Mrs. Texas.
yeah.
Well, she was here last year because it was a locally, but I don't know who it was this year.
Well, I think it
Never
was
had-
Miss Texas Rodeo
We
that,
had, yes, we had the ladies' names for the rodeo, and then we didn't have the names on the junior rodeo, the Archer County girls.
It's the announcer's responsibility to sort all that out.
well, you did a good job. You were keeping right abreast with it, but.
Well, I was having, poor Jeanette, that's the director, she only had one glove on. I said, don't you, I kept thinking, do something, because I had one glove off turning pages. And I'm thinking, and I finally said, why don't you put your other glove on? She said, I lost it. I said, well, okay. I said, you want mine?
Well, and Judge, we had one of those small tanks, but the taller one, if you'd had one of those taller heaters up there, that would have been okay to stand right under while y'all were having to announce, but you were kind of in the wide open, you had no break.
The judges judging the floats moved back a little bit, but we've got to think about that. Well, I don't know whether they did it good with the wind blowing through the way it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the most frustrating things, Judge, is I'll be doing something, I'll get my gloves on, and it takes a little bit to get them pulled on. And the minute I do that, my phone will ring. You can't answer your phone. They're actually selling gloves now that are,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of those.
But it was just it was a very good time, and it was a good outing, so, and I was so pleased. And then this coming Saturday is going to be Electra's Downtown Parade, and they have, if you're not familiar with the, I don't know, Barry, what do they call those mud wagons?
Oh, the rock climbers.
Rock climbers
Yeah,
will
there's
be
a
in
bunch
full
of them in
force
Texas.
over there for that parade, and they're always awesome to see, and my boys like them quite a bit, and they just really get out on the limb with what they are, and that whole big group will come through.
We called them, that Christmas Eve snowfall, they helped out because they could get around, they thought it was a fall.
Yeah, they're set up so high off the ground.
Yeah.
But that's Saturday night at dark at Electra.
Okay. All right. Had a pretty big weekend of other, Kemp had their big opening of their Christmas stuff, and then did that, the parade. That's the coldest I could think, and I've done them for 20 years.
It just blowed in right at the wrong time, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Tonight at 6, Fantasy Lights turns on,
Mhm.
and Santa will be there, and there's some new displays. That is just amazing how that has come along. This is the 44th year, started in 1974. Wow.
At Midwestern.
At Midwestern.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
you're
now-
saying 44 years at Midwestern?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
because
Burns.
yes, and I remember that. I still remember touring the Burns estate with it all there.
Well, now you gotta tell the rest of the story, and everybody says you went out to meat spread and Santa was
Yeah.
burning.
Yes,
That's a local
I've done
brand.
that one too.
I've done that, you bet.
Yeah.
Oh, you brought up something, we lost Doug Green
I was
over the
gonna
weekend.
have that down here.
And I don't know when the services are,
That hasn't been.
been set yet, but
set
Doug
yet,
was,
but, he was Santa Claus.
he was Santa Claus in this part of the country. He was a member of the Redneck Culinary Academy, did a lot of cooking and a lot of work, and he was a good guy, and we're gonna miss Doug.
Well, I had calls, I saw him about 3 weeks ago, right before he went back in the hospital. And I said, Doug, you know, you need some help doing this. Well, I'm cutting down from 130 to 100.
Wow.
Same things.
Jesus, yeah.
And, yeah. And I've already had calls to pick up 2 of his.
There are 2 Doug Greens in Burke. He was one, and the other one is my wife's uncle.
Oh.
And they were good friends, and they swapped mail back and forth, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But, our Doug Green's wife worked with Santa Doug Green at Sherman Air Force Base for years, so they were all well acquainted, but it's just strange that there
Well,
would be 2 Doug
he was
Greens.
one of our big sausage cookers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he has reached out, but what I always thought was amazing about Doug was he could be in a store someplace shopping, and he just had that aura of Santa Claus. Little
He did.
kids would come up, take his
Yeah.
hand, and just start talking to him.
That's right.
And, you know, but
Good
just,
guy.
he's a veteran, he served both his county, his city, his country. It's gonna be a big loss and all that, so.
Judge mentioned about Old Christmas.
Oh, okay, I had that down here too, thank you. The old Christmas tree event you came to, and somebody's promised to make a horseshoe Christmas tree.
Lee was supposed to help me this
Yeah,
year,
that's it, yeah.
and he went on a cruise, so.
Yeah, you're right, but that came off well. That's the Interfaith Outreach Services major fundraiser of the year. It was even bigger and better, and they added, I thought that was, they didn't know how it was gonna go, but some people wanted to do wreaths, so they did wreaths and did garland, and all of that sold, and then Chris went to Mineral Wells Saturday and bought 40 ceramic Christmas tree deals for table decorations for next year.
Oh, wow.
Part of them she brought home, and the others they're gonna get for her, and we'll go pick up, and so I never know what's gonna be in the garage, except I know my car's not
Well,
gonna be in
if
there.
you'll just remind at the right time, I'll assist on the deal, Barry, get you
Yeah.
paint, I'll put
Well,
it together.
And I was just gonna say, Judge, I might ought to start on that this week. That might be the deal.
You know, this is being videoed and streamed.
I know.
It is a fun event to get to see a lot of people that maybe you don't often get to see, and it's a good relaxing visitation, and it's fun to find something there you like and get to bid on it.
So I was getting close last year, and just the day before, I had a limb fall off, and I thought there might be liability involved. I never regret on that. Yeah, this is a good time to get started on that.
My son Cody and I deliver all those trees. Let's hope you get some heavy duty cans.
Well, where does the wrap come from, Judge?
She orders that someplace, but I don't know who came up with that idea.
So you
That's
will
a-
decorate it and wrap them
And wrap 'em.
and deliver them?
They have a roll that's, it's 5 foot across, I guess.
Yeah,
And
it's-
4 foot tall or
Yeah,
5.
yeah, it's, well, you have to put it in
It's
my
easy
pickup,
to move.
but it makes it, when you put that around there, it just takes the armlets and everything in there.
It's a small bubble wrap.
Yeah,
You know, it's a small bubble in the wrap. It's
Yeah.
very, very easy to use.
I wish I'd had that with me Saturday night, I'd have wrapped it.
I suspect, Judge, when you get to the point you want to set the reviewing stand on fire, it's cold. That's cold.
All right, well, we've had enough fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 10:46 and we're adjourned.